I'm also being joined by guest on the panel here, Mr. Pradeep Bhati of the Samajwadi Party joining us on the broadcast, Salim Dharnidharan of the DMK also joining us on the broadcast here, and Mr. Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist, with us on the broadcast here. Let's understand first the perspective from both sides as it is being seen. Mr. Amitabh Tiwari, if I could come to you first. What my colleague Sunil also has been pointing out here in terms the scheme that is being seen, which was brought by the government in 2018, it is being seen as a setback. But the opposition also, on the other hand, which has been so far calling the scheme diabolical, saying that it is a means of bribery being given to the present government, the opposition also has been raking it in big through these bonds. How do we see this?
See, the electoral bonds issues attempted to channelize the political funding through legal channels or legal means. That's what the intention of the program was. However, it did come with an element of lack of transparency because the people did not know which are the corporates who are funding these political parties. So that was one of the lacuna of the system, and that is what the Supreme Court essentially is harping on today. However, if you see, in the past 6 to 7 years, only 16,500 crore have been raised through this electoral bond issue. And that's a very pittance or a very small amount compared to the amount of money which was spent in the Lok Sabha 2019 elections to the tune of some 60,000 crores as per some estimates. So the amount of money was not great. It's a small amount. And the fact that the Supreme Court has mentioned that the quid pro quo could occur in the case of electoral bonds, whoever is funding could get some projects or change policy. See, that could happen even today also with political parties getting funding from corporates through means of cash. Correct. So that lacuna still exists. So what it does is that it even moves this 16,500 crore of funding, which was coming through legal channels, to now a black channel or a cash channel, which the political parties will continue to get. Maybe the amount of largesse which the BJP was receiving, or the portion of money which the BJP was receiving, now gets distributed among other parties as well. However, for 7 years for the Supreme Court to decide that this thing is unconstitutional also speaks a lot about the bureaucracy or the bureaucratic system which the top judiciary of the court itself has been spent upon nowadays.
Okay, and also this is just coming right before the Lok Sabha elections are due to be held. Well, in that context also it has to be seen. Also, Mr. Dharnidharan has a point here to make. Mr. Dharnidharan, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think the political analyst who spoke clearly missed few vital points. Right, first and foremost, electoral bonds are a threat to Indian democracy, and we have to remember electoral bonds were introduced by the BJP across the world in democracies. Even Brazil, as recent as 2016, banned corporate donations. France, Belgium had done it way back in the 90s itself because a clear causation between electoral fundings and policies made. See, greater the inequality of political funding, greater the chances the public policy is tilted towards the interest of the super rich. Again, there can't be selective transparency. What is selective transparency? So any corporate company can donate as much money they want to any political party, but who donates to whom, only BJP knows. That is what even Supreme Court has raised. You can't have selective transparency. So everyone should know. First of all, in my view, there can't be corporate donations. It should not be encouraged. It has to be capped. That's point one. Point two, even if you allow corporate donations, everyone should know who has donated to whom. Only then you know, let's say, if oil companies are donating a lot, that is why you have a lot of taxes on oil, right? That's how you understand. Is there any quid pro quo? If you're bringing in
Mr. Dharnidharan, Mr. Dharnidharan, I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but electoral bonds have formed a big chunk of donations to regional parties as well, including the DMK. 186 crores. According to the audit report of 2022-23, it shows the regional parties as well as parties including Aam Aadmi Party, the DMC, your party, DMK, BRS, they have received most donations through electoral bonds.
Yeah, I understood. Can I reply? I think you make it sound as if everyone is part of the system and try to save the BJP. Electoral bonds were introduced by the BJP, and BJP receives 80% of the electoral bond funds.
So that is the
80%.
problem you're saying. Okay, that has been the
For
problem
every
you're
100
saying. But
rupees, listen,
if the
every
opposition
100
parties are also
we are
receiving the
receive
same, if the
99% of
opposition,
its
yes,
funding through electoral
99%
bonds.
rightly
for
quoted
every,
there,
see, for every
the
100 rupee
donations
received,
that have come
for
into the
every 100, let me
DMK,
speak.
99% of the chunk that was received by the DMK was
DMK
part
was
of the
through electoral
electoral
No,
bonds.
bonds.
I
Let
think,
me
see,
let
see,
me
see,
So
also
first of all,
bring.
don't
did
interrupt
it
me. Yeah, I think it makes no sense here. For every 100
now
Okay,
rupees,
let me.
you have received 99 out of 100 rupees through electoral bonds.
No, it's
So
not true. Not true. Not true.
that?
Stop
Did
lying, man.
you?
Stop lying.
It is
Come as
true.
BJP spokesperson. No.
It
See,
is
who
true. It
introduced
is
electoral
part
bonds?
of
Why did you
your.
introduce
It is
it? Then
part
how are
of
you
Sir,
your
supposed
it's
to
the
fight
audit
election?
election
report
How are you
released
commission.
by
guys
the
supposed to fight
It is
ECI.
election?
part
It's
of
not
your
something
commission
that
BJP
I'm.
news will be
election.
receiving it. What?
It's
Right?
not something
Come
that
as
is
BJP spokesperson, not as
imaginary,
a
that
list of
I'm
full people.
speaking out of a whim. All right,
At least
let me
complete
let
something
me
and
include
come.
Mr. Pradeep Bhati also of the Samajwadi Party.
Keep
Mr. Pradeep Bhati, your first reaction. How do you see this verdict delivered by the Supreme Court today? How do the opposition parties see this?
Thank you and good afternoon. I think justice has been delivered, but there was definitely a delay. When we see that there is a unanimous decision, that means that itself suggests that it was written on the wall clearly that BJP was trying to manipulate elections, increase corruption in the country, and the tall talks about the transparency, whether it's in the election or in the public life. It's now today it has been widely spread out what BJP has done. It's a slap on the face of the government for making all these tall claims of the transparency. Second thing, these are the corruption and the we are talking about the legitimate money that is illegitimate money that is influencing the elections. That BJP, when it was not in the power in 2000 before 2014, they were making all tall claims about the black money which has been funded, as rightly said, over 65,000 crores of money has been utilized in the last election itself. So this electoral bond is a small pie of that entire chemics of illegal money flowing in the election and how
Well,
it
you
has
call
been
it
influenced in the
illegitimate
entire
money, but
country.
what about the money that was received by the Samajwadi Party? 3.2 crore
See,
rupees. Of course, the bigger chunk,
that is
as the opposition parties
that
have been
is
pointing out, go to the
that is a
BJP.
dubious
But
claim which you
3.2 crore
want to
rupees through
paint
electoral
everyone.
bonds in financial year 2023. It was up from zero in
See,
2022. What
see,
would you say
right.
about that?
What is the amount of Samajwadi Party got is?
It's
You're
3
talking
point,
about 3
yes,
crores. Yeah,
yes,
3
yes.
crores. And you're talking about 16,000 crores. And 3 crore amount can be a legitimate amount also. 3 crore, you're painting with the 16,000 crores. So there is no
No, there is no
comparison, first
comparison,
thing.
sir. But I'm
There
saying
is
you're
no
calling it
comparison. So
illegitimate
don't
money.
paint. So I
But it's
request you.
not. It's not that just one party is receiving all the
So
money.
I
It's
request
it's
you.
other
See,
parties as
see.
well who've been
So I
deriving the
request you.
benefit as well.
So I request you not to paint everybody with the same paint. Yeah, you are not discussing because Samajwadi Party was not in power. And Samajwadi Party was the one of the party which is initially our national president Akhilesh Yadav ji said that there has to be transparency in the elections, the way elections are held, including
Okay.
the actions of election commission.
Okay.
So the
Okay. All
capitalist
right. Point taken there. Okay. Point
mindset,
taken there. A
the
quick
capitalist
reaction before
mindset
I
of the
wrap this,
BJP
Mr.
is getting
Amitabh Tiwari.
exposed,
How do we go
and it is
forward now?
rightly said about the
Quick
quid pro
reaction
quo,
from
what
Mr.
is
Tiwari,
happening
please.
in the country, and everybody
So
will
see,
it will
you
get
see,
exposed.
political funding has been an issue for a long time. Electoral bonds came. Now this has been scrapped by the Supreme Court because of largely the transparency angle. There have been debates about state funding of elections. So now all the political parties and the election commission have to come to the table and perhaps find a solution to reduce the use of cash in electoral funding. And that's
Okay.
for
All
everybody
right.
to now.
Mr. Dharnidharan, a quick reaction from you also before I wrap this. 30
See,
seconds.
yes. See, finally, I think we have to see how much money BJP received compared to every other party. It was introduced by the BJP with the whole aim of helping the corporate. That is why, when after the introduction of electoral bonds, the corporate taxes reduced from 35% to 22%, helping the corporates. And
Okay.
secondly, the tax on fuel increased drastically to offset for the reduce in income due to reduction in corporate taxes. That itself shows a quid pro quo. Corporates are paying BJP government, and based on that, they're
Okay.
burning the masses
Okay.
to offset the
one
taxes.
last
As simple
point.
as that.
Okay, that's the
Just one last-
allegation that the DMK
Just one last
is
point.
making here, and other opposition parties also, that the BJP is raking it in big through these electoral bonds. But now it's well, the top court has delivered a huge verdict today, struck down the validity of the electoral bond scheme, and also has asked to make everything public. The bonds that have been purchased in the last 15 days also will have to be returned according to the judgment that has been delivered by the top court. Thank you so much to all my guests for joining us on the broadcast.